So, it's been about a week since the Code Vein Hellfire Knight DLC, and due to its size, I think it's around the right time to talk about it. And yeah, on that note, I think that's actually what we got to start this video out with, right? The size of this DLC. There is a lot, a ton of room for hope. You know what I mean? Honestly, bro, those motherfuckers, despite this, for some reason, I expected this. This is unsurprising to me. To begin with, I didn't even know there was a season pass. Like, it wasn't until I'm looking at the PSN page for Code Vein and I'm seeing Standard Deluxe Edition. I was completely confused. I was like, wait, what? What do you mean Deluxe Edition? Like, I thought there was only a Collector's Edition. I didn't know, you know? Listen, man. I know how these dudes Bandai operate, and I know these dudes Shift. Like, Shift, I'm looking at y'all right now. Like, we're boys. I know, y'all. Shift is a valuable asset to Bandai, right? And this is due to their cult following, right? So God Eater came out years ago, eons ago, it feels like, but they still have, such a strong fan base. That is big, right? That is big. But strong fan bases does not mean large. And at the end of the day, that might not get the bills paid. Okay? But what happened with Code Vein is different, right? This was monumental for the Shift team and for what Bandai was perceiving. They haven't had this type of excitement or hype since forever for anything that isn't God Eater, right? This isn't brand new for them. And that's the problem, right? I feel like Bandai saw this and wanted to take advantage of this leverage that they had. So from there, this is where I start really thinking. I feel like Bandai saw this leverage and was like, all right, Shift, we need y'all to do some DLC. They wanted tiers, but if you don't, what is the deluxe edition gonna have? You need to give something to incentivize people to spend that extra 20, 24, 25 bucks. Like, the game's finished, but you need a deluxe edition, so you need something else to give them. This is literally like, obviously speculation, but this is me saying I don't think the DLC needed to happen at all. Okay, so this is where my comparison with God Eater 3 comes into play. Now, I said this on stream, but it's literally perfect. Like, this is the perfect situation and the perfect two, so let's talk. God Eater 3 released with intentions of the game not being 100% complete. What I mean is, in the planning stage, when they were deciding of the story, mapping it out, they came to a conclusion that we will release the game stopping here. But obviously the story, sorry, you can't see it stopping here, but the story obviously needs to continue here. This allows for faster development time, faster deployment of the product, whereas these additions that they're adding are very light and incremental. This equated to the game coming out comfortably with no delays. No delays. Oh my God. But they had intentions of continuing the product, the story from the start. And for the best part, no additional cost. On the contrary side, guys, Code Vein is different. They were more ambitious. You think about it, guys, they had to delay the game in order to ensure everything was coming out. Not just everything, but in the best possible form. Like, these guys garnered so much attention, so much awareness. If they delivered a half-baked product like what we could say God Eater 3 is, people are leaving after they're done. They're not coming back. If you didn't know, I got invited to a private Code Vein viewing, playing event, whatever you want to call it. And it was after their radio silence. And so what this brings me to think is maybe whenever they decided to have that radio silence, they're like, all right, let's just take a step back. Let's figure our shit out. This tactic of inviting a ton of people to this private event and then having an embargo set for May 8th allowed for a news blast to happen on that date. And the amount of outlets that came and the amount of news that I witnessed be released, my own stuff including, it was as if their radio silence never happened. Everything was back to normal. They were back on the map. The excitement was there. What do I mean by this? Why am I telling you all this? Code Vein is complete. The game is done. Everything is there. Story, gameplay, all of that. It's there. This season pass is just additional fun to have. It ain't anything substantial. It never was planned to be. TLDR, the DLC didn't need to be a thing. They just tacked it on so they could freaking charge us more money. Tragic. So with that being said, I do not think that the remaining 2 DLCs would be substantial. Okay, I think they're going to be exactly the same format as what we got for Hellfire Knight. But what I am thinking about on this note is what's next? More DLC? Or like, are we done? Like, is that it? When I say are we done, I'm not talking about a sequel. I'm just talking about for the base Code Vein. Are they not going to add anything outside of the Season Pass DLC? In reference to a sequel, we're going to have a full dedicated video on this. I want to let these DLCs come out, flesh out, see what happens, blah, 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 before we get into that talk. So if you aren't subscribed, be sure to do that right now. So yeah, that's what I believe happened with this DLC. We should have never had such high expectations. It's kind of what my whole point was. This is not very surprising to me. So let's kind of get into how I feel about it, a little bit of that, the lore aspects, and yeah, we'll end off the video. Overall, I didn't say it yet, but I mean, I enjoyed what they gave us. I enjoyed it for what it is, you know what I mean? It was challenging. I wasn't expecting much. I was hoping for a lot, okay? I was hoping for a lot, but I was expecting very minimal. Apart from, I guess, the depth area, because like, that's kind of what I was talking about, the being challenging. The depth area they added was a bit challenging. You know, apart from that, the Hellfire Knight, the Hellfire Knight fight was fun, okay? I enjoyed it. I'm still working through some attainable horror trials, so look out for some streams, but I like the horror trials. It added this incentive to come back and challenge myself. It made me start trying some new things, and I actually really enjoyed that aspect of this DLC. But we got it, bro. Some of these rewards, son, what is going on? How are you going to give me one of the hardest things to do in this game? I don't even remember what the reward was, but think about it like this. They want you to fight the Hellfire Knight with a pipe only and not get hit, and the reward, not just a sticker. They're not just gonna give you a sticker for that hard challenge, but a stupid sticker, one that I would never even think about putting on my character. Like, come on, guys, come on. What? And so last but not least piece that this DLC added, I'm very thankful it added anything on this front to begin with, because I didn't, like I said, I wasn't expecting much, so I almost didn't even think we were going to get any type of lore behind this, but, you know, we did get some lore and some details on the story, some more world building pieces. If you haven't seen my Code Vein and Gladiator Connection video, some of this talk might not make sense to you because of how deep we get into that video, so be sure to check that out. Very good stuff in there. And then come back. The most we find is a new blood code, and with that blood code there's going to be 3 total like other skills that you can unlock by watching memory echoes. So we got 1 memory echo for this first DLC, and again, it added some nice things. Like I said, I was expecting nothing, and I got something, so I'm very content. So starting from the top, I mean, the Hellfire Knight, it's literally a Hannibal. On Instagram, I posted a little video of a Hannibal and Gladiator 3 and the Hellfire Knight, both of their movesets. They're literally identical. I didn't need to do that, but I just had to. And so to start off the whole depth process of getting it and going down there, they say, what was it? Davis says that they sealed a couple horrors that got through the red mist in the depths. So firstly is the Hellfire Knight. And you know, obviously with that information, we can assume, and we basically know, the rest of the other 2 DLCs are origami variants of some capacity. But overall, the big things that we learned in this memory echo, the DLC, everything as a whole, are these points. Revenants, despite not having god arcs, are still able to damage origami horrors, whatever you want to call them. And not only that, this dude Jack soloed one. He weakened the Hellfire Knight, the Hannibal, solo before this other successor of the first successor of the throat sealed him. Solo. Like, wait a second. I thought that was getting faded easily. No, that ain't the case. Secondly, it's kind of news to me, but not really. See this sealing power? It's strong enough to hold back origami. That's big. I think that during the success of the throat incident with Jack and Eva, I think some sealing was going on. Or at some point in the story, I think we learned about sealing, that they were able to. But this was like back up to that, and it lets us know it's strong enough to hold back an origami, so that's pretty wild. And the last thing was Valerio, who was the blood code, right? The blood code. He said, "Oh, we're gonna leave this for future generations." That's just such like a hint, like future generations guiders are future generations. You know, obviously he's probably talking more about revenants, but it's one of those things where it's like whenever you know, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. When we get all three, we'll get more deep into this talk. We'll really discuss it, kind of like the first video, the other one. But for that, I want to see all the rest of these 3 DLCs, the rest of these 2 DLCs come out, see them flesh out, see how they go. So stay tuned. But yeah, that's all I got for this video. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are on this first DLC. How do you feel for the upcoming ones? Because I know some of y'all are like, bro, I'm not even about to touch Code Vein until the next, just to get through the other ones, right? So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. But other than that, that's all I gotta say. I will see you all in the next video. Peace. I'ma floss down when these people try to test. If you in my way, I'ma have to put you to rest. Yeah, I know it might sound complex. Everyone around me always wanna be the best.